this world, there is real evil in the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. Sandra Waldron and her son Gene have always been close, sharing an interest in the occult. But when Sandra finds herself lost and alone, her fascination soon turns to obsession. As she heads down a dangerous path, Gene fears that his mother is turning against him. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. The supernatural realm is vast and uncharted, attracting those who seek answers beyond the physical world. But its mysteries are infinite and its power unpredictable. When toyed with, its consequences can be deadly. The year is 1965. Sandra Waldron and her son Gene have just settled into their new home in Geneva, Ohio. Her husband Stephen works at a nearby engineering company.
Hey, how was your day?
It was fine. How about you? Everything okay here?
Oh, yeah.
Stephen is the only father that Gene has ever known.
Great. What's for dinner?
I never really knew my real father. Stephen had been my stepfather since I was 3 years old.
Hey, do me a favor and take Gene inside and get him washed up for dinner.
Honey, I've been working all day. I just want to get out of these clothes and relax.
Hey, remember what I said before we got married? Parenting is a 24-hour job, and now you're a parent.
My husband never mentioned that it bothered him that Gene wasn't his child, but I do think it did bother him some. I think he resented it a little bit.
Come on, Gene, buddy. Let's go inside.
Sandra hopes that one day Stephen will be able to accept Gene as his own. Sandra unearths an old cornerstone.
Someone had died on our property, and it had been an old schoolmaster that had lived there quite a few years back.
She's intrigued. She had no idea that her property was once the site of an old schoolhouse.
Hey, what are you doing? Come on, let's eat.
I'll be right there.
And wonders how the schoolmaster passed away.
Stephen, did you know there used to be a school here?
What's that?
There's a cornerstone out by the side of the house.
Yeah, I remember our neighbor Denise say something about that.
Sandra has
But I can't
always
remember why.
believed in the existence of spirits and their interaction with the living world.
But how'd she say he died?
My interest in the occult and the supernatural has been with me all my life. There's so much that we don't know. It just fascinates me. I want to know all I can about it.
Wow.
Sandra, please don't start with that hocus pocus garbage again. You know, you've been spending way too much time reading those weird books again.
The supernatural is kind of taboo for a lot of people. My husband was more apprehensive about those things than I was.
Perhaps if you spent more time taking care of the house, that'd be a good idea.
Stephen, I keep the house just fine. And I happen to think that my books are fascinating.
Where are you going? What about dinner?
Oh, I'm done with dinner.
Honey, I'm just joking.
Sandra's discovery of the cornerstone only fuels her interest in the occult.
I believe if you're open to things, then maybe they can come in.
Hey, it's getting late. Why don't you put that book down and get to sleep?
And I bet you won't leave me alone until I do, right?
You got it.
Over the next month, Sandra soon forgets about the old schoolmaster.
And I heard these heavy boots walk across the floor.
Let's go upstairs, okay?
She assumes that it's Stephen, home early from work.
Stephen? Let's play with your toys, okay?
There was definitely no one there. It maybe alarmed me a little bit, but I wasn't really scared. It just really piqued my curiosity.
Because of her interest in the occult, Sandra wonders if she could have invited a presence into her home.
I decided that, well, maybe it was the schoolmaster that was haunting our house. I wasn't doing anything intentionally, but I could have possibly opened a door.
A few years pass. And Jean is now 11 years old.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Boys are allowed to be boys.
Get over here right now!
All my friends were terrified of my dad. If they were at my house playing and they saw my dad pull up, they ran. Everybody was scared of him.
You see this? This is gonna cost money.
I'm sorry. I'll work it off, I promise.
That goes without saying. You'll work every weekend cutting the grass until you pay for this.
Jean's relationship with his stepfather never really develops.
He was always angry and yelling at me. He never told me he loved me. He never said anything nice to me. And that was never good enough for him.
Stephen, give Gene a break. It was an accident. He was just trying to have some fun with his friends. We could all use a little more fun around here.
Sandra, this is gonna cost me an arm and a leg to fix. Your son has no concept of money.
Stephen's ambivalence towards Jean begins to put a strain on their marriage.
I'm sorry. I meant our son. It's been a long day.
Why don't you go inside and I'll be in a while to fix dinner?
My husband was very critical of Jean. It was painful for me. I loved my son, and I wanted him to feel more comfortable at home.
Tell you what, there's a scary movie on tonight. How about we watch it?
Okay.
Okay.
As Stephen grows distant, it only brings Sandra and Jean closer together.
My favorite thing to do was to watch scary movies. When we were watching movies together, we'd turn the lights down, get some popcorn and just make an evening of it. It was just a lot of fun, being scared.
Said we need a little more fun here.
Why don't you go have your fun somewhere else and let us watch the movie?
Don't worry, I won't ruin your night. Besides, I'm gonna go watch the game with the guys.
So, how are things with you and Stephen lately?
The next day, Sandra and Jean go over to their neighbor Denise's house.
Hey, Jean. You go home and get that can of beans out of the cupboard.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, and hurry up, because we're gonna eat soon.
I'd never experienced anything like that before. I just felt that there was something evil in the house.
Sandra believes that Jean was visited by the schoolmaster, but she downplays the incident, not wanting to feed into his fear.
She just completely wrote it off, and I began to wonder later if maybe it was my imagination.
Still, Sandra is intrigued by Jean's encounter. She hopes to one day become a published author and begins to write about his experience. After a few weeks, Jean soon forgets about his unexplainable encounter.
Woo! Yeah!
Instead, Jean has been eagerly awaiting for the boat trip that Stephen has planned for this day.
What are you doing in that boat?
I was just checking it out.
Well, it's not yours to check out, is it?
I wasn't gonna break anything. I was just sitting in it.
Well, then get out of it. You got no business being in there in the first place.
Whenever I was around my stepfather, you were walking on eggshells. And you knew if you just said the wrong thing, he was gonna explode.
And you have no respect. I go out of my way to get this boat so I can make your mom happy and take you fishing. And what do I get?
Maybe I shouldn't go then.
Of course you're going. You've been looking forward to it all week.
He's just gonna yell at me. I don't want to go. Please don't make me go.
Okay. Maybe I'll stay home too.
No way, Sandra. What are my friends going to say if you're not there? Under no circumstances are we going to cancel this boat trip.
Just go ahead, Mom.
I am not leaving you home alone.
Sandra, quit babying the kid. He's old enough to stay home alone.
I am not babying him. I'm his mother, and I worry about him.
I'll just go to Mark and Jimmy's house until you get back.
Are you sure? Well then, we'll be back at 7. Okay. All right, be a good boy. We'll see you later this evening.
Gene returns from his friend's house and sees that his parents are still out for the night.
Mom? Steven? Is that you?
Gene, stop yelling! Gene, stop yelling! What's going on? Tell me what happened. Tell me what's going on.
Gene, it's okay. It's okay. We're home now.
For crying out loud. You were right. We can't leave the kid home alone.
Stephen, do me a favor and just get out of here so I can see what's going on. It's okay, Gene.
Gene tries to explain to his mother what he saw.
I saw a tall, thin man. And his face was all red and disfigured, and it just terrified me.
Why am I seeing these awful things?
There's something I should have told you a long time ago, but I didn't. I've got something to show you. I think the person you saw was a man who had lived here a long time ago.
Sandra tells him about the schoolmaster who died on their property.
He knew something was going on. I felt really bad for Gene. I did, and I didn't want to see him that frightened.
This man, he died right here? In our front yard?
I think so. At least
She goes on to say that she has had many encounters with his spirit and has never felt
I've known
threatened
about
by his
this
presence.
since we were a baby, and nothing has ever happened.
Sandra figures that Gene is just overreacting because of his age.
Think of it like one of those scary movies that we like to watch. And they're really scary, but in the end, it's just a movie.
Gene eventually accepts his mother's explanation.
She made me feel so much better and not be so afraid, because I knew that my mother was there for me and wouldn't let anything happen to me.
Although Sandra is able to comfort Gene, she wonders if there is a way to remove the spirit from the house.
Honey, where are you?
Oh, I'm in the living room. Just give me a second, Stephen. I'll be right up.
What are you doing?
Just thought I'd tidy up before I went up to bed. I'll be up in a minute.
Don't take too long.
Jean does not see or hear from the schoolmaster again. But another problem is plaguing the house. Sandra and Stephen begin to fight non-stop, and Jean does whatever he can to escape.
Jean, it's good to see you again. Guess your parents couldn't make it here today?
You know how stuff
My best friend invited me to church early on, and I really liked it, and I just kept on going pretty much ever since.
And if you need someone to talk to, give me a call.
Okay, thanks.
Church was a reason to stay away from the house.
For weeks, Sandra has the same dream over and over again.
The dreams were usually much more vivid to me than regular dreams.
And she wonders what these recurring images could possibly mean.
What are we doing? We're fighting all of the time and it just doesn't seem to be getting any better. We cannot go on like this.
You're right, Sandra. We have grown apart.
I've been denying it for so long. I can't do it anymore. Stephen, it's over.
Here, let me get that for you.
It just finally got to the point where I had to leave.
Well, I guess this is it. Take good care of your mother, okay?
Although the breakup is hard, Sandra knows that it's for the best.
I felt it was a good thing. I was looking to start a new life, but I had no idea what lay ahead. I was hoping it was the right thing to do.
Sandra decides to move back to Texas City, her hometown.
Texas City was where I was born and raised. I had family there. I hoped that would be good for me and my son both.
Sandra hasn't left Geneva in years, but suddenly, the drive becomes oddly familiar.
The dream was definitely an indication that I was going to be leaving.
She now realizes that her dreams are visions of the future.
I thought it was so obviously prophetic.
Sandra finds a small house that she can afford.
is this filthy thing doing in here? What's this?
Right in the center of that floor was a star, a 5-pointed star.
What is it, Mom?
It's a symbol. It's called a pentagram.
Sandra is familiar with the pentagram, having read about it in her books on the occult.
What's it mean?
It means different things to different people.
She also knows that people have used it to practice witchcraft.
When I first discovered the pentagram, I thought, wow, there were witches here. I knew that it would just depend, which way you use the star, whether it was good or bad.
I'm gonna check out.
I wondered, was this coincidence? Or had I, by some unnatural forces, come to this house? I saw it as a positive sign that maybe I was on the right path.
Over the next few years, Sandra struggles with the pressures of being a single mother and has little time to focus on anything else. She takes on odd jobs to support her and Jean, but finds herself struggling to pay the mounting bills.
Since my husband and I had split, I had never really worked. I had to support myself and my son, and I was scared.
Sandra hopes to sell one of her stories to a publisher, but her dream of becoming an author is no closer to coming true.
Come on.
Hey.
Jean is now ready to graduate high school.
Hey, there's a zombie movie on tonight. You want to watch it?
You know, I'm not into that stuff anymore. Besides, I told you I already made plans with friends. Can I borrow the car?
Jean and I were getting more distant. And that made me sad because I wanted us to be close.
Just don't drive too fast, okay? See you later.
With Jean no longer around, Sandra finds solace in her books on the occult, which have always given her comfort. She is immediately drawn to Wicca, an earth-based religion that worships both a male and female deity.
It was positive on the female side. Women were equal with men. I think that's one of the things that attracted me.
She is also intrigued by the Wiccan belief that one can create change using the energy that surrounds them. Sandra creates an altar using items that represent the 4 elements of nature: earth, air, fire, and water.
I didn't have anybody to teach me, so I had to learn everything on my own, through books primarily. I was hoping with Wicca that maybe I could change things. Maybe I could make things more positive in my life and my son's life.
Sandra performs her first ritual.
Earth sanctions my magic tonight.
She calls out to the god and goddess, asking them to help ease her growing debt.
I call forth the forces of prosperity, truth, transformation, and purification.
Sandra repeats the chant over and over again, channeling the energy around her.
Mother Goddess, Father God, grant me this wish.
You can actually feel like an energy. It's a sensation of like an electrical power going through your body. It's a very positive feeling of power.
Weeks later, Sandra receives a letter from a magazine. They plan to publish one of her short stories and have included a generous paycheck.
When my first ritual worked, I was hooked. It made me feel like I had some kind of control over my life, that I can make things change when they go wrong.
My mother just got deeper and deeper into the supernatural, and it just drove me more awake. I'd been scared to death when I was a kid, and I was afraid that something was going to happen.
Morning, Mom.
Oh, Gene! I had the most incredible dream last night. Actually, I think it was a vision.
My mom just started talking to me about the occult a whole lot more.
I really think that this experience is a sign of things to come.
It just seems like we were becoming two different people and going our own ways.
But enough about that. So, graduation is less than a month away. Have you started looking for a job?
Sorta.
Really? Well, tell me, what are you going to be doing?
I signed up with the Air Force. I'm leaving just a couple days after graduation.
Can't believe it. Oh, wow. I'm proud of you, Gene.
Thanks, Mom.
The relationship between my mother and I had gotten so strained that I decided my best chance was to join the military, get away, clear my head, figure out the answers to life's questions myself without my mother's influence.
Soon after Gene graduates, he leaves to serve in the Air Force.
When Gene was in the military, I really got into Wicca and started really practicing it and doing rituals.
Over the years, Gene slowly loses touch with his mother.
After I joined the Air Force and I started to travel, I couldn't tell anybody what I was doing. I could hardly ever see my mom.
After 7 years in the Air Force, Gene returns home to Texas City.
I was looking forward to seeing my mother and coming home, and I thought things were going to be great.
Gene. Hi.
He is surprised by Sandra's appearance and is unsure how to react to this unexpected change.
She had black hair, black blouse, black pants. She had a necklace with a pentagram on it. I was just dazed.
I'm so glad you're finally home.
Looks like you remodeled while I was away.
Well, let's get you set up in your old room. just as you left it.
I remember this being here.
Well, I'll leave you to unpack, and dinner will be in half an hour.
It was just too much for me. The way my mom looked, the way the house was. Now I have a picture of the devil in my room. My last couple years in the military, I started to really go to church. And so by the time I got out, I was a very devout Christian.
That evening, Sandra and Jean catch up over dinner.
That looks and smells as good as I remember it.
Well, I know it's your favorite.
So, tell me, what's been happening?
Well, life has been great, Jean. I mean, ever since I started practicing Wicca, things have changed, and for the better.
What does that mean, exactly, to study Wicca?
So I was concerned that she was practicing some form of magic. Even if her intentions were good, the potential for it to go wrong just is what scared me.
Honey, there's nothing to be concerned about. Thank you for your blessing. My gratitude is endless. Continue to protect us, especially Jean, now that he's in your watchful eye. As I receive your energy, now you receive mine. Continue to protect us, especially Jean. As I receive your energy, now you receive mine. My gratitude is endless. As I receive your energy, now you receive mine. Thank you, great goddess.
Later that night,
I thought, what was it? And I thought maybe it was just headlights shining in the window.
Destroy him.
Jean, and where have you been? I've been worried sick about you.
Worried sick? Really? Did you get up in the middle of the night to check on me? Because last night I was attacked. I was attacked by a woman that looked just like you.
Destroy him.
Jade, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mom.
It wasn't me, I promise you that.
Mother, I'm scared for you. I'm scared of what you've let in. You're opening doors you don't know how to close.
Gene, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Mom, you're in over your head. You've got to stop this right now.
I don't know what to tell you, other than I love you and I would never do anything to hurt you. You know this, right?
I don't know anything anymore. I gotta go. I need to clear my head.
Gene scours the library, hoping to find something that could explain what he experienced.
I had never seen lights like these before. I wanted to know what it was.
He discovers a book on the occult that refers to these paranormal phenomena as sprites.
These sprites, they were a product of witchcraft. I believed that her intentions were good, but that she had let something in the house that was evil. I didn't want to go back, but I realized my mom was in trouble. I had to have the courage to go back in that house and fight for my mom, because I knew something was trying to destroy us both.
Mom? You home? We need to talk.
When I saw my cross in the pentagram, I was furious.
I cannot believe you, Mother. You are messing with things that you cannot control.
Where are you going?
I'm afraid of what you've let in. And I'm not gonna stick around to see what happens.
I thought my mom was casting spells on me.
Gene now believes that the schoolmaster was really an evil entity that his mother may have conjured up many years ago.
Something came into my mother's life when I was a child and tried to show her dreams and tried to take her down a path into the occult.
He cuts all ties with Sandra, realizing that there is nothing he can do to stop her.
I felt that my mom was too far gone. The more I talked to her, the more I thought that she was lying to herself, lying to me. So I finally left.
Sandra is devastated by Gene's angry departure.
I was really upset that he thought I was causing something. I could understand maybe why he would think I was doing it, because I said I was a witch.
But she continues to practice Wicca, despite her son's warnings.
I was going to do a dedication to Isis.
Isis is the supreme mother goddess of ancient Egypt. She is also considered the most powerful deity of the pantheon.
Great goddess Isis, I dedicate myself to you. In this place of power, I open myself to your energy. Great goddess Isis, make me one with your spirit. I dedicate myself to you.
Sandra prays to Isis, believing that she can guide her through this turbulent time.
In this place of power, I open myself to your energy. I open myself to your energy. Great goddess Isis, make me one with your spirit. I dedicate myself to you. Goddess Isis, I dedicate myself to you. Goddess Isis, I dedicate myself to you. I dedicate myself to you.
Sandra destroys the altar, hoping that it will close the door to the other side.
I think they were demons. This scared me so bad that I said, that's it. I want out. I don't know what I'm doing. It was definitely something I couldn't control. You're messing with something that is beyond our comprehension.
Jean and Sandra eventually reconcile their relationship, and they are closer than ever before.
Now we talk almost every day, and we're trying to make up for lost time.
So, and everything else is going well?
Yes, it is.
Jean is now a minister and counsels people who are victims of supernatural events. Sandra finally realizes her dream and becomes a published author. She never practices Wicca again.
Bring them over.
She believes that her inexperience with practicing magic allowed these demonic entities into their lives.
It's possible that my interest in the occult all my life could have opened some doors. I could have been manipulated by demons or other spirits. I just don't know. I don't know the answers.
I believe that it started out as one evil spirit that just became many and tried to destroy our lives.
In this world, there is real evil. In the darkest shadows and in the most ordinary places. These are the true stories of the innocent and the unimaginable. When Randy Irvin dabbles in the occult, he unleashes dark forces he cannot control. Night after night, vengeful spirits torment him as he struggles to protect his family. Desperate to free himself from evil's grip, Randy turns to a white witch, unaware that a battle with the demonic has just begun. Between the world we see and the things we fear, there are doors. When they are opened, nightmares become reality. Standish, Michigan, a rural town near the shores of Lake Huron, was once the hunting grounds of Native American tribes. To this day, many of their descendants believe in the divine power of the spirit realm. With this comes a profound respect for the dead and a warning. Whoever disturbs sacred burial grounds will unleash the unholy. The year is 1974. 22-year-old Randy Irvin has lived in the area all his life.
I wasn't in college. I wasn't pursuing a career. I was still kind of enjoying my time away from high school before I really knew what I was going to do with my life.
Eventually, Randy finds a job working for the U.S. Postal Service.
I had very good income at that time. I was looking for a place of my own.
Randy moves into a beautiful old fixer-upper that his father, Roy, has been renovating.
My dad would take these houses and refurbish and rebuild and whatever they needed, you know, to bring them up to par to have them ready for rental property.
Hey.
What you doing down here?
The living room floor was sagging, so I had to come down here and jack it up. And while I was digging for these 4x4s, look what I found.
Are those bones?
I think so, son.
How do you think they got down here?
I don't know. This house is over 100 years old.
Think they might be human?
I hope not.
I mean, this could have been maybe a murder, a mysterious story from the past that nobody knows about. So he was wondering if someone was buried here that shouldn't have been buried.
Roy contacts a local physician who he hopes will provide some answers.
So, what do you think?
Well, I think you might have stumbled across an old Indian burial ground. You know, it's quite common.
That it was a common thing to find grave sites like this in Standish pretty much anywhere.
What do you think we ought to do with them?
I think we ought to respect the dead. I'd rebury and be done with it.
And they've got to go back where they belong.
My dad didn't like the idea that this grave site was under his house. We put the bones back in the ground, and we kind of felt comfortable and confident that we did the right thing.
Randy is disturbed by the discovery, yet something about it intrigues him. He becomes fascinated by Indian burial grounds and the mysteries that surround them.
One day on my break at work, I stopped at a bookstore. I came across this book on witchcraft. It drew me to it, and my full attention went on this book.
Randy learns that spirits can manifest from consecrated burial grounds. He also finds detailed instructions about how to conjure spirits.
It talked a lot about people that had passed away many years ago and were still caught in limbo, haven't went to heaven. These are the ones they said that you could communicate the most with. And it told me different things that I was able to do, and the one thing that intrigued me the most was to look for buried money.
Randy's relatives have always talked about a family treasure that was buried somewhere in Michigan.
This book on witchcraft told me that I could conjure up some spirits that would help me find this treasure.
Hey, Randy, how are you? It's been a while.
Hi, Paula. Yes.
I kept this very secret. I didn't share it with any of my friends.
A little light reading?
I didn't tell anybody.
No, it's actually a book from my aunt. She's into this kind of stuff.
I wanted to experiment on my own without anybody coming in and telling me don't do it or that's silly, or this is dumb. I made a decision that I wanted to do this. It was my personal venture, and I wasn't going to get disturbed in it. That night, I went home and I opened the book on witchcraft. The book told me I had to control the environment. I had to have all noise turned off. Anything that would disturb my concentration.
The book instructs Randy to recite the names of 4 spirits.
I read the instructions and what to do. All I had to do was call them out, ask them to come to me.
Anatosa, Lavariki, Corazina, Simosani, appear before me. Anatosa, Lavariki, Corazina, Simosani, appear before me. Anatosa, Lavariki, Corazina, Simosani, appear before me. What is dark, be filled with light. Bring these spirits into sight.
According to the instructions, they were supposed to show up immediately. I expected maybe some voices, maybe writing on the wall. I waited and I waited and I sat there, and after a while thought maybe I did something wrong because they weren't showing up.
The following night.
I started hearing dishes clanging in the kitchen. I started to hear someone walking. I couldn't find anything to attribute the noises to.
The next morning,
Hello?
Randy? It's Mom.
Hi, Mom.
Randy gets a call from his mother, Belva.
Honey, are you okay?
Belva lives in Mississippi, having moved there after she and Randy's father got divorced.
I'm fine. Seriously.
Look, something is wrong. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it.
She felt very strong that she needed to come back. It was a clairvoyant
Randy.
kind of a thing. She said, something has happened. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna find out. My mother and me were very close as far as picking up how each other felt.
But something bad has happened.
Tammy Irvin is Randy's younger sister.
Randy.
She is 11 years old.
Look, something is wrong.
I knew something was wrong with Randy. I didn't get the whole thing because I was just little. They don't like to talk around kids, but we listen.
A month later, Belva and Tammy return to Michigan and move into Randy's house.
Did you have a good trip?
He was pale, like sickly looking. He lost a lot of weight compared to what he did when we left. He didn't look good at all.
You look tired, honey.
I had a little trouble sleeping, that's all. Hey, come on, let me show you the house. Mom, you coming?
Randy?
Do you hear that, Mom? Do you hear that music?
Would you turn the radio down, please? It's late. We're trying to sleep.
I don't have a radio in here, Mom.
It was coming from the far corner of the bedroom. We both started searching to see if maybe a friend of mine had left a radio.
back to bed, honey. Everything's fine.
But I heard music.
Randy just had his radio on too loud, that's all.
Yeah, sorry about that, kiddo. Didn't mean to wake you up.
It's kind of difficult trying to understand when they won't totally explain what's going on.
Going back to bed. I'll be there in a minute.
What was that, Mom?
I'm not sure.
Belva attributes the organ music to her late mother.
She knew that her mother loved playing the organ.
How could it be Grandma? She's dead.
I know that, but organ music is just Grandma's.
Belva believes that the music is just her mother's way of letting them know that she's looking out for them.
Yeah. Grandma, right?
Try to get some sleep, honey.
Randy is afraid that the spirits he invoked are causing these unexplainable noises. But he can't bring himself to tell his mother that he's been experimenting with the occult.
When I would put my hand in the place where they were, I felt a lot of cold air.
Morning, hon. You okay?
Yeah. I'm fine. I didn't get much sleep last night.
How do I explain this to somebody? Who do I tell? Who's gonna believe me? Who's gonna listen?
Randy doesn't want to worry or scare his family until he himself understands what's going on.
If anything was to happen, I wanted it to happen to just me, and I was willing to go through whatever that was necessary to have all the torment reflect upon me and no one else.
But at night, alone in his bedroom, Randy is petrified.
I felt its hot breath on my leg. It never cut into my skin, but they were sharp. I could feel how sharp they were. I thought that I was losing my sanity.
Randy? You all right? My God, you're shaking like a leaf. What is it? What's wrong, son?
Something's happening to me, Mom. I go to sleep every night, and every night something wakes me up.
What wakes you up. The music wakes you up?
No, Mom, not the music. I'm hearing things. It's the music, but it's footsteps and it's clanging dishes. And now there's something growling at the foot of my bed. It's growling at me like it's gonna rip me apart. I can't see it, but I know it's there because it's breathing and clawing at me.
All right, just sit down and take a deep breath.
Am I going crazy? Am I going out of my mind?
Randy, listen to me. I believe you. Whatever this is, we'll figure it out together.
Did you hear that? It's over there, behind the TV.
Believing that there is an evil presence in the house, Belva turns to the Book of Psalms for protection.
Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor
Somebody else was there, and we just didn't know who or what was causing it. I just know that it was going on, and it was scary.
Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly.
As Belva continues to recite verses from the Bible, the vicious growling slowly subsides. Randy prays that this will be the end of his affliction.
Corazina, Simosani, appear before me.
The torment that plagues Randy at night takes its toll during the day as he struggles to focus on his job.
I was getting mentally exhausted, emotionally exhausted. It was because almost every single night I was wrestling with these things.
Hey, this package isn't for me. I'm 633 Maryland, the 639. That's across the street.
Sorry.
It's okay.
At home, Randy tries to spend some quality time with his sister, but his mind is elsewhere.
Do you hear that?
Do I hear what?
I actually heard scratching from a door to a room that my dad had some antiques stored in there.
Hey, Mom? You gotta hear this. What's happening? Mom, talk to me!
Randy runs to get Belva her Bible.
This thing literally had her in a chokehold, and I believe trying to take the life right out of her.
I think I was shocked and freaked out all at the same time.
This situation really convinced me these things were evil. They were out to get us, and it wasn't just me now that was experiencing the torment. We didn't know where we were going to go, but we headed for the car because we had nothing else in our mind except to escape.
Randy and his family are forced to move. They rent a small house across town. It's the only place they can find on such short notice. Randy is overwhelmed with guilt.
Can opener?
He knows that he is the reason why his family is suffering.
Honey, everything's gonna be okay. I'm fine.
I felt a lot of remorse, what I brought upon my family.
I need to tell you something. Dad found some bones underneath the house. They were part of an Indian burial grave. I didn't think it worked at first because nothing happened, but I was wrong.
Randy, what have you done?
I bought a book on witchcraft.
She was very shocked that I did that.
I don't know what else to say.
She knew I had kicked something open.
It's all my fault. I did this to us. I'm the one responsible for all of this happening.
Honey, listen to me. Everything is going to be okay. We're safe.
Why are you following us?
Randy?
I realized that it was not gonna stop.
They followed us. They don't want the house. They want me.
Mom? I heard weird noises.
The noises, all of it. It came with us. It followed us.
Go back to bed, honey. Everything's okay.
Do you want to know why it's still happening, but nobody's given any answers?
Randy is desperate.
I wasn't gonna give in to these creatures. I wasn't gonna crawl in a corner somewhere and die. I had made a decision that I'm gonna find help one way or another.
Although he's not a member of any church, Randy seeks the help of a local minister.
I didn't know where else to turn.
Well, God is here for you to help, my son. So tell me, what's on your mind?
Do you believe in witchcraft?
Witchcraft was created by Satanists to dispel the Lord's power. They prey on the weak-minded, creating an imaginary world of demons. But it's not real.
It's a fabrication created by you.
No, see, I don't think you understand. These things are real. They're not just in my mind. I know that. I'm awake when they attack.
He said, I've never come across a situation like this before. I've never heard anyone having a problem with having spirits and entities like that taunting them.
Have you accepted Jesus Christ into your life? Have you asked for his forgiveness?
You're not listening to me. Okay, you're not listening. These things want to destroy my family. Don't you understand that? I don't need you to preach at me right now. What I need is your help.
Have you considered talking to a therapist? I'll pray for you, my son.
I went to several different churches, different faiths. I got the same answer from every church and every pastor I went to see. They didn't know how to help me. There's got to be someone out there. If these things are demons or devils, somebody has got to know something. I wanted my life back, and I was fighting for everything that was within me. I didn't know how to fight, but I wasn't giving in.
I don't know about this, Randy.
Mama, I don't know what else to do.
Determined to put an end to his family's torment, Randy decides to take a risk. He figures since witchcraft released evil into their lives, perhaps witchcraft can send it back. Belva is uneasy with the idea, but realizes that they have no other choice.
If we don't do something, what next? Who's next? Tammy?
All right, son.
Mom?
Randy contacts a white witch named Mike Bosick.
A white witch believes in good, believes in God, and believes in trying to help.
This is my mom.
Mike practices the traditions of Wicca, a modern pagan religion based on ancient witchcraft originating in Western Europe.
Don't mom me. It's late. Go to bed.
Wiccans believe in a reverence for nature and the use of magical circles for ritual purposes.
Gonna conduct ceremony
I thought it was an answer to a long-awaited prayer.
that will protect the house and us.
He knew how to close the doors if I had opened doors that I shouldn't have. He knew how to send these things back.
To guard them from malevolent forces, Mike must first create a ring of protection around the house. Mike warns them that they must stay inside or the barrier will weaken and their safety will be jeopardized. This is Mike's first attempt at expelling unholy souls from a person's life.
I looked at it as a way of expanding my experiences. A lot of it is a leap of faith. You have to trust in that you're doing everything right.
Guardian spirits, hear my call. In the dark corners of the night.
Mike must circle the house 3 times to complete the protective barrier. He hopes it will be strong enough.
And then return from whence you came.
As I was constructing the ring, the wind was picking up.
Guardian spirits, hear my call.
As all of this intensified, I knew it was something trying to stop me. And if there's something trying to stop me, I must be on the right course. And when you're dealing with the occult, you can't have no sign of weakness. You have to be determined and with a resolve that shows the spirits that you're the one in control, not them.
Guardian spirits, hear our call and shine your protective light. Defend us from all the evil that dwells in the dark corners of the night.
Mike completes the ritual.
When I completed the third ring, the wind stopped.
Will you join me in the circle?
As part of the protection ceremony, Mike constructs a pentagram on the floor.
It just symbolizes the 5 important deities of Wicca.
Unlike a satanic pentagram, the Wiccan star is not inverted. Mike lights candles and pours salt around the pentagram, sealing the protection ring.
It is imperative that we stay within the pentagram until I complete the ceremony. Unfettered spirits, far from home.
The candle started to flicker, which to me meant that something trying to come through.
Come to this place, do not delay.
And it was something I didn't want there. But I felt confident enough in the strength of the ring I had set up.
And force all the unholy ghosts away.
To complete the ceremony, Mike must blow out the candles. Belva and Randy are relieved. The nightmare is finally over.
I was getting excited because, from what I understood, this gentleman knew what he was doing.
Because of Mike's inexperience, his protection barrier fails against the dark forces of the occult.
This thing was a lot more powerful than I realized.
Randy can no longer ignore the dangers of tampering with witchcraft.
He threw fuel onto the fire and made it worse.
Unable to offer another solution, Mike leaves the house.
I know, Billy. Try not to think about it.
Randy, Belva, and Tammy are left alone to deal with the aftermath.
Steady.
What's happening to us?
I don't know, honey. I just don't know.
Will we be okay?
Yes. We are going to be okay. Everything's going to be just fine.
For Randy Irvin, life has become a nightmare.
I started falling into a deep depression. I didn't know where to reach out. I didn't know who to reach out to. I knew that the edge of insanity was in front of me, and I could cross that line at any time.
Hey, Randy. Hey, what's going on?
You know that book on witchcraft?
And that's when I broke down and kind of started explaining what I've been going through.
You think I'm crazy?
No, I don't. Randy, I know someone who can help you.
Paula directs Randy to Nora Rayner, a healer known to help those who have been oppressed and tormented by demonic spirits.
When I went to her house, I kind of refrained a little bit outside of wondering how a woman could help me in this situation when I went everywhere else.
Looking to get a haircut? Yeah, you don't usually get many men around here, but have a seat.
Nora Rayner appears in silhouette to protect her privacy.
When I first met Randy, he was in a terrible physical state. He was very thin, very nervous, very anxious, and he looked very sickly.
Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come. I shouldn't be here.
Are you okay?
Nora senses that Randy is deeply tormented.
You want to talk about it?
I want to die.
Why?
I did something stupid, and I put my family in danger.
He came to me out of desperation in a state of fear.
Did you ask for help?
God.
Listening to him, I just knew he needed deliverance.
Do you have the answers?
And I knew I could do that.
I believe I have a gift from God, an ability to heal. But in order for me to help you, you must believe in God. Can you do that?
Says, I'm gonna say a prayer out loud, Randy, and I want you to repeat it for me, and I want you to mean the words that I recite to you. Don't just recite them, I want you to mean exactly what, you're saying.
Jesus, I ask that you forgive all of my sins.
Nora says a
Come
prayer
into
of
my
deliverance.
life as my Savior, and deliver me from what I am going through.
I can't. I'm trying. I can't say it.
Take your time. Focus on His love.
Randy finds himself unable to recite the prayer.
I felt myself going partially unconscious.
Jesus!
I had prayed deliverance before, but never imagined anything like this. It was important to me to stay strong in my faith. If I would have let my guard down, I would have lost. I would have lost the battle for Randy's life.
I knew that I was liberated. I wasn't dead inside anymore. Someone cared. It was him. It was Jesus that cared enough to set me free.
Soon after Randy's deliverance, the family returns to the house. Nora believes they must bless the place where dark forces were first unleashed.
Thank you for your many blessings and ask that you bless this house and this family.
She felt a bottomless pit had been opened, and she wanted to go back there and close it.
There's a power of darkness out there that's lurking to feed in to anyone who has this curiosity about the supernatural.
Everything's gonna be okay.
I wouldn't advise anybody to mess with witchcraft. I wouldn't advise anybody to dabble. It may not affect you as it did me, but you will open a door. You will let something in your life. It is a door that you can't close.